Hello, my name is Ralf Pirzl. I have been involved in business and politics for many years. And today, I want to address a question that is becoming more relevant every day. Should Europe strengthen its military? And more importantly, what would that actually change? If you like this kind of content, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Because this topic is not just about defense. It is about power, influence, and the future direction of Europe. At first glance, increasing military spending sounds simple. More money, more weapons, more security. But in reality, it is much more complex, and the consequences go far beyond the battlefield. For decades, Europe has relied heavily on the United States for security. Through NATO, the United States has provided military protection, strategic leadership, and global power projection. This created a stable environment, a predictable system, and for many European countries, a very comfortable situation. Too comfortable, because when security is guaranteed by someone else, the incentive to invest disappears. Strategic thinking becomes less urgent, and dependency slowly grows. But the global environment is changing, power is shifting, and uncertainty is increasing. Which brings us to the first major benefit, strategic autonomy. If Europe strengthens its military, it gains the ability to act independently, without waiting for external approval, without depending on political decisions made in another country, because alliances are strong, but they are not permanent guarantees. They depend on political will, and political will can change. We have already seen how quickly foreign policy priorities can shift. And that creates risk. Strategic autonomy is about reducing that risk. It is about having options. It is about being able to act when action is necessary. Now let's talk about deterrence. A stronger military is not just about fighting wars. In fact, its main purpose is to prevent them. Deterrence works by sending a clear signal. The cost of aggression will be too high, and when that message is credible, conflicts are less likely to happen. Weakness invites pressure. Strength creates stability. But deterrence only works if it is believable, and that requires real capability. Not just political statements. Now here is something that is often overlooked. Military investment is also economic policy. It is not just about defense. It is about industry. It is about technology. It is about long-term competitiveness. Defense spending creates high-skilled jobs. It drives innovation. It supports sectors such as aerospace, cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, and advanced manufacturing. Many technologies that shape our daily lives today originated in military research. But there is a critical condition: coordination. If Europe invests in defense in a fragmented way, with each country developing its own systems, the result is inefficiency, higher costs, duplicated efforts, and reduced impact. But if Europe coordinates its investments, the benefits multiply. Shared development, standardized equipment, stronger industrial base, and that leads to something even more important: reduced dependency. Right now, Europe still relies on external suppliers for key military systems, and that creates vulnerability, because dependency limits freedom of action. If access to critical equipment depends on external approval, then strategic decisions are no longer fully independent. By strengthening its own defense industry, Europe gains control over production, control over supply chains, control over innovation, and that increases resilience, especially in times of crisis. Now let's look at another dimension: European integration. Defense has always been a sensitive topic in Europe, but it also has the potential to bring countries closer together. Joint military projects require trust. They require coordination. They require shared objectives. And over time, that creates alignment, not just militarily, but politically. A shared defense strategy could become a foundation for deeper European unity. But this is not automatic. It requires leadership, and it requires a clear vision. Now let's zoom out to the global level. Power shapes influence, and influence shapes outcomes. In international politics, capability matters. A stronger European military would increase Europe's weight on the global stage. It would strengthen its negotiating position. It would allow Europe to play a more active role in shaping international decisions, not just reacting, but leading. And in a world of competing powers, that matters more than ever. But this path is not without risks, and it is important to be honest about them. More military spending means trade-offs. Resources are limited. Every euro spent on defense is a euro not spent elsewhere. Healthcare, education, infrastructure. These are real choices. There is also the risk of fragmentation. If countries pursue national strategies instead of collective ones, the result could be inefficiency, higher costs, and lower effectiveness. And finally, there is the political question. How will this power be used? Military capability creates options, but it also creates responsibility. And that responsibility requires careful decision-making. So what are we really looking at? Is this about militarization, or is it about independence? Is it about preparing for conflict, or about preventing it? Because strengthening Europe's military is not just a technical decision. It is a strategic choice. A choice about the kind of role Europe wants to play in the world. A choice about how it defines its own security. And ultimately, a choice about its future. And maybe the most important question is not whether Europe should become stronger, but whether it is ready to take on the responsibility that comes with that strength. If this kind of content is of interest to you, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. And tell me in the comments, should Europe rely on its allies or build its own power?